Okay, we are live. Okay, my daughter's getting the other computer to get set up so she can help me moderate. Let's see. Ta-da! It is just now 7 o'clock, so we'll give people a chance to get on here today. Hey, hi Tracy. Have to get my glasses on. My daughter, hi Carol, hi. My daughter, Michelle, she's getting the other computer, so, and hi Amy. So she will set that up so she can tag along. I have set her up as a moderator on my channel so she can help. Hi, Latrice. And so for a second here, I'll be talking to my helper over here. Hi, Crafty Newton. So as far as plugging it in, you'll have to figure out what you can unplug, like the printer, for instance. We have a power strip with so much going on here. Actually, you know what? I have another outlet right here. Unplug. I have my heat tool here. We're going to plug her in so she doesn't go dead in the middle of all this. Hey, everybody. Hi. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I rarely get to grow my nails out. They just don't. That doesn't happen. Hi, Kat and Melody. So when they finally get long enough, it's like, oh, I think I'll put those stickers on them. Color Street, I think, is the name of the company. Hi, the Crafting Bee. So we were just talking about the shiny nails. So when it's time for this to be removed, I'll probably trim my nails back down. I have some projects I want to do, and the nails really get in the way. So yes, today we are going to be talking about crafting businesses. Let's get Michelle going. Hi, Krista. It looks like Greece. Oh, lovely. Hi. How's it going, Michelle?
Oh, I'm trying to log you out and log me in.
Yeah, there you go. She's logging me out on my own computer. I have 2 laptops, and so this one is the better one for doing lives. You just had an online party for them. Good. Yeah, I like it. I find that I have to put clear nail polish on over them or they just really crack badly. They look like cracked eggshells. So, but I really like this. It's like pink with a little bit of sparkles, and I can't remember what it's called. So, more people are coming on. Question.
It's still coming with you.
Do you need, I have a direct link if you need help finding it.
No, I signed you on. I guess on me.
Okay, she's still logging in. Okay, how's everybody doing? So while we're doing all that, you won't be able to see this really well, but this is the paper pad for the December daily we're going to be working on. And it is in my shop now. I only have 40 of these, but so, hi, Jenny. Mute. Mute. I'm hearing reverb because she's got her computer on and I could hear myself there. Hey, Michelle. Say hello to Michelle. So our legendary mermaid is our moderator. There she is. She is here. See the little, oh, great. It has a little wrench tool next to your name and your name's in blue. Does anybody under this chat right now, hi, Carol, yeah. Under this chat, does anyone see anything like a $ sign that you can click on? Don't click on it. Do you see one, Michelle?
No, no $sign.
I don't know why mine has that. Amy sees it.
Yeah, I don't.
That's interesting, and Jenny sees it. I'm just learning all this, and so I don't know why my handy assistant doesn't. Maybe it's because she's my moderator. There it is. Okay. So apparently that is a support system. You can actually click it and donate money to the channel. It's for Super Chat. Janie, thank you. So that's the first time I think it's been available on my channel. In other words, if you click it, you could donate $1 or more to the channel.
Oh, I see it now.
That's showing.
I thought it was in the comments.
Oh, it's under the comments. Okay, so it's new, I think, to my channel now. And all those little emojis that you could click on now, like that one. Like I just put a laughing thing there. So those are all new that we can click on those. And so the super chat means if you donate money, then your comment is highlighted for a while. Anyway, I've donated to other people's live streams, but this is the first time it's been available on mine. I think it's because my channel reached a certain level. So anyway, welcome everyone. Yeah, it's below where you write in your comment, Beetle Chick. You're right. Yes, and Beetle Chick just put another emoji there, grapes or something. Very cute. Okay, so I don't know if all of you have seen part 1 of this, which we were talking about why to start a crafting business and ways that you could earn money crafting. But today we want to talk about expenses. Oh, Jenny, thank you very much. And see how it's nice and highlighted there. Thank you very much. How sweet. So anyway, hi, Judy from Florida. Hi, good to see you. So we're talking about everything that you can claim as expenses on your taxes when you are having a craft business. And so my assistant here is going to help me by monitoring comments in case I miss out on them. Hi, Anne. Good to see your smiling face there. I see your little smile there. Dora, hi. Yeah, glad you could catch the second part. So those of you who are in the US, this is what's most important. But if like those who are in Greece and other countries, thank you, Tracy. Those who are in other countries, make sure that you check with your country's rules and check with tax experts in your area. But this will give you some ideas about what you can do in your area. Okay. Hi, Kiwi Bear. And Michelle, if you see any super chats, especially point those out to me, okay, in case I miss out on them. All right. So this is on our taxes. It's called a Schedule C, profit and loss from business. Notice it says profit or loss, meaning if you start a business this year and you go to do your taxes and basically you didn't make any money, you lost $1,000, you still claim that on your taxes because that comes off of your family's taxes as a loss, which actually helps you pay less taxes, right? So, but whether you have a profit or a loss, you have to claim it because of all those expenses. And in our country, you have to claim every expense you had. And it seems weird. You would think that they would want you to say you made a lot of money on this so that you would pay more taxes, but it's not the way it is. People have learned to scam the system by putting themselves in the exact income category they want to get the most benefit from taxes. So they say, you have to claim all your expenses instead of making it look like you were a pauper. You actually didn't make some money. So on a Schedule C, principal, business, or profession, there is a code, a business code, and it gets kind of complicated because they have this huge list of all these codes that are on the instruction sheet. And it gets scary looking at all these. If you haven't seen these, this is just one of the pages. And so, it's 2 pages like this, and you would pour through all this and not find anything. I have been claiming it as 999, which is, or 999, unclassified establishments. And then I would put in the description that it was crafty business. Accounting method, cash or accrual. Most people go by the cash system. And what that means is you are recording transactions when the money changes hands. So for instance, if let's say I sell a Memory Dex die, but you haven't paid for it yet, I don't claim it on my taxes until you actually pay for it. The accrual method, not cruel, but accrual method means that you would claim it as a transaction the minute the transaction happened. So cash seems to work better. You just claim it when the cash moves hands. So we talked about some income before. Part 1, income. We'll get to that a little later, but part 2, expenses. So the things that you can claim on your taxes are pretty cool. So advertising, if you are paying for ads on YouTube, ads on Facebook, ads on Instagram, business cards is a form of advertising, some kind of mailers, some email loops, or what do you call it, like Oh, there's an email system that you can pay to email newsletters out to people. That would all be under there. Vehicle expenses, most of the time, instead of claiming actual expenses like oil changes, claim your mileage. For this year, the mileage is 58 cents a mile. So if you are going out to buy supplies for something you're going to make to sell, like your trips to Michael's, that's included. Even if you are combining that with maybe you're going to buy something else because it's on sale. I don't know. But if you're buying business tools, that is part of your mileage. Also, sales, like if you're driving somewhere to sell, if you're driving somewhere to a craft fair that you're going to be holding a booth in, if you're driving somewhere to mail an order, all of that is your mileage. But the kicker is you have to have a written log of, it has to say the day. So I do a spreadsheet. And so it would be the date, where I went, the mileage when I started, the mileage when I finished, and the total miles and the purpose of the trip. So I would say, like today, which is October 3rd, I'm going to the post office. And the reason is I'm going to mail orders. My mileage when I started, the mileage when I ended, and the total miles for the whole trip. That needs to be in writing if you ever get audited. And the question all tax preparers have to ask is your evidence in writing? So that's important. The next item on here, contract labor, that's if you, not an employee, but you hire someone, like usually it's like you pay your kid, right? To lick stamps for you. Well, we don't lick stamps anymore. We did in my day. I used to have my kids help me stamp envelopes and put my return address on envelopes when I was doing mailing lists. And that is contract labor. So
I've seen anyone adding comments lately. It's been a while since I've seen anyone add.
yeah. Are we still going strong here? Someone type, Michelle, you type something in too, just to make sure it's working. Yeah, no one said anything recently. I am so captivating that you're speechless, or someone try to type something. Are you succeeding, Michelle?
Okay, I submitted emoji.
There it is. Okay, Michelle was able to type something. Okay, great. Thank you. I'll make sure the comments are working.
Yeah.
So that's what contract labor is. It's not an employee. Thank you. Now, depletion doesn't apply to crafters. Thank you, guys. Depletion has to do with mineral resources like oil rights or something on your property. But depreciation, the next section, depreciation is if you buy something, a supply for your business that isn't expected to run out in a year, like, let's see, tape. Okay, it's not going to run out. In other words, something like a camera that you are using just for videotaping, then you claim that as something that depreciates, and it's a whole nother sheet. So you actually claim not just that you bought it, but you're claiming that camera a little bit every year because its value decreases. That's called depletion. There is a whole form for that.
I remember that from when I took accounting classes.
Yeah, my daughter took accounting for a year before she just focused. Oh my gosh. Someone learned me some English before she focused totally on a math major. Okay. Employee benefit programs. If you don't have employees, you don't have to worry about that. Insurance other than health. Most of us who are small crafters aren't going to have that. Interest, same thing. Mortgage. Usually you're not claiming your mortgage because that would be if you had a separate building that you had bought for this business, a store. Legal and professional services, like I paid LegalZoom to establish an LLC for me. And I also put under that when I applied for my trademarks, I put that under legal and professional services. Office expenses include supplies like the tape, the postage, the envelopes, and those things that you for mailing out and anything to the office part of your business. Pension and profit sharing plans. Again, if you don't have employees, doesn't apply to you. Rent or lease. Are you renting or leasing a facility? That means for the business. Vehicles, machinery, equipment usually doesn't apply to, we don't have a backhoe or anything like that. Repairs and maintenance doesn't usually apply to us. Supplies not included in part 3. So these are the supplies that last less than a year. So they're not the things we claim on a depletion like, these are not the things that we claim depreciation on. These are the things that do run out. die cutting machine as you know what? You could a die cutting machine because you're using that in your business to sell things. Yes. So you would put that under something that it depreciates. It's less and less value. For instance, if you bought a maker this year, next year it's not worth that. What is it? 350, 380. Next year it's not worth that anymore. Maybe you could sell it for 300 if you had to turn around and sell it. So it's losing value through time. Taxes and licenses. You don't usually have to have any licensing to run a craft business. So, or pay any specific taxes. The travel and meals. Now, this is interesting because I just went to the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, and I am claiming that as a business expense because I do that and upload all these videos. It's part of my video series. And also when I go to Creativation in January, which means all my travel, and this is my flights, and that is my hotel. That's the travel part. And then meals, you get 50% of your meals. So save the receipt. Hi, Yvonne. So when you're out of town and you're going out to eat and you're out of town for work or for your job, you get to save all your receipts. And then 50% of all your meals that you accrue. I don't know if it means all your coffee trips. That's debatable. Utilities. So like I am not claiming my cell phone, for instance. That gets tricky. And I would recommend you talk to a tax advisor. I do use this for business so much. I mean, I burn through my phones really fast because I am on it all the time, answering emails, answering Facebook questions and YouTube. And so I could technically claim part, but what part can I claim? I don't know. I haven't done it. I know people who do though, and they would say, well, I think my cell phone is about 25% business use. You can do that. You can claim 25% of your cell phone bill for the one line, not for the entire cell phone bill. But utilities now, our family, we need super high speed internet because I'm uploading videos. You know how hard that is? So my husband got this basic internet and I said, it's not good enough. I need high speed. So he had to bump us up to the next level, which was another $10 a month. I am claiming that $10 a month on my taxes because and I'm paying for it out of my business money because it's a necessity for my business to have that high speed. So you can claim a portion of your utilities. If you have a part in your house that is designated, this is business only, not pleasure, like an office. If it's only business, you can figure out I started to say square mileage. You can figure out the square footage in your house and then what portion of the house that is. Like, is it 20%, 15% of the square footage of your house? Then you can claim that percentage of all your utilities and all that. But it can get difficult if you start claiming your house rent, a portion of that. When you stop using that part of your home for business, it becomes tricky on taxes. You would really have to consult a really good tax advisor. So I just don't even claim part of my house for that. But wages, obviously, that is, you have to have an employee to claim wages. And then other expenses is from line 48. And there are things that you just can't figure out, how to claim them on here. But it's very important that you fill all these out. I want to explain a little bit of cost of goods. And this is part 3 on the back. Cost of goods, that means what it costs you to be able to sell what you're selling. So for us, that is buying inventory. If we are selling, like I have an Etsy shop. So for me to sell inventory, it's the cost of me buying that inventory. If your craft business is making journals, it's the cost of the supplies to make those journals. So it's what you have invested into what is actually being sold. So cost of goods sold, it's not, maybe it could be your stapler if your stapler is used only for your crafts. So a little tricky on that one. But when you have an inventory, to me, it's a hassle to have an inventory. At the end of every year, you have to count everything you have and declare the value of how much you paid for it, not its retail amount, but the wholesale amount that you paid for. So that becomes your inventory. And then there's a little calculation here, math wise. So you figure that out, and you figure out if you took anything out of there for your own personal use, you have to deduct that. So let's say I bought a lot of memory decks dies, but I took one out for me. Then I pull that out of the cost of my goods that I purchased for business. However, if you're doing YouTube videos like I am, I'm using that memory decks die in a video. It's still a business supply, so I can leave that on my inventory. There we go. So then it has you figure out what your inventory was at the end of last year, and yeah, and then when you do this calculation, it's just letting you know how much is the change between last year and this year. So, and then it does say other costs. And so there are many things that could go into this. And I've had different businesses, home businesses through the years. And so I've had different things that I just couldn't figure out where to put anywhere. Like office expenses, when it says postage, I always put postage stamps on there. But it could be that somewhere you need to put the fact that you were shipping items, like the cost of that at UPS or USPS. And the other thing I was thinking of just hit me. If you have any questions about anything else you can claim, let me know. It gets a little tricky. Some people do try to get away with claiming a lot. Like I could say, I'm on camera. Maybe I should get a facelift. That's not going to, I don't think I could claim that. The wrinkles are here to stay. What was I thinking? What was I thinking, Michelle?
I don't know. I can't read your mind.
You should be able to. There was something. It'll come back. It was something I was thinking about of an expense that you wouldn't normally think about. Shipping items. The mailing envelopes. All your mailing, the packaging, the tape, the padded envelopes. All of that would also go under office expenses as well. Little goodies that I give out, deduct your camera, yes. And you know what? And I was talking about my cell phone. This is my camera. But, if I were to buy a real video camera, that would definitely be just a business expense. And I still could claim part of my cell phone bill because this is what I use for recording. Trying to think. Another thing about advertising, like I make the little buttons or pins that say Palooza on them, and I give those out. So that is also a business expense. It's part of the advertising. Any other ideas of things you have claimed or questions about what you can claim that you're not sure about? Another thing, when let's say that you decide you want to set up a business and you start piling up or amassing items now, but you're not actually going to open your business until 2020. When I was still being a tax preparer, you could still claim the things from the year before you actually opened up your business instead of filing separately for that year. But either way, you can still claim the items is what I'm saying. So even though I don't actually sell anything this year, I could still claim on a Schedule C everything I bought to open the business. If you have a loss like 3 or 4 years in a row, I know some of the tax preparing software, it asks, well, I see you've had a loss this many years. Do you ever anticipate making money? The live is my computer, and I did there you go. Good question. I am using my new computer. I have 2 laptops. The one that I have my like Cricut and Cameo software on, but it was too slow to handle video editing software. So I had to buy a bigger, badder, faster laptop to handle bigger, badder, faster video editing software. So both the laptop and the editing software are business expenses for me this year. So my cell phone, which is a Samsung Galaxy S8, is my video recorder. When I'm recording videos, it sits above me like this. And that's how I record videos. Had a kettle corn business, just always gave the paperwork to the CPA. She's awesome. Yeah, I guess I'm cheap because I've done my own. Even when my husband used to do our taxes, I would always fill out my Schedule C because I knew my business. I used to sell cardstock by the sheet. You don't want to do that because the end of the year inventory is a pain. I'm telling you, that was rough because I had crates of this stuff and I had to count how many sheets I had left. I dreaded it every year. There was maybe I could have waited or something. Yeah, I know. Is there one of me crying here? There you go. Let's do that. There's a sad face for Lolly having to count her paper. Okay. And okay. And then even within your business, there may be a situation in which some company may pay you to evaluate something of theirs, or you may get paid. And so then you would get I'm just going brain dead here. It's late at night. It's late for me. Where they will give you a form saying they paid you money, though you are contract labor. State taxes to the state for the items sold. Well, your what happens is your Schedule C, you fill this out, and then the bottom line of all this, whether it was a profit or whether it was a loss, let's say it was a profit of $3,000 even for the year. Yeah, I wish I could have coffee. I can't, unless it's decaf, and then that doesn't help me. So basically, all you're filling out the Schedule C is for the bottom line of how much you made. Let's say you made $3,000. That $3,000 gets put over onto your 1040 or your federal form, and it gets figured in as income, and then you are paying state taxes off the whole income. So yes, in 1099. Thank you, APG. Oh my gosh. I used to also do a bookkeeping and have to send out 1099s for the company. I was totally brain dead there. So that was 1099 is when you do contract labor for someone and you make over $600, they will send you a 1099. Even if they don't send you a 1099 and you are paid, let's say they pay you 50, you still have to claim it on your taxes. So yeah, truth in taxing. So every dollar you make has to be claimed. Any of you doing crafty businesses now, or just considering it? It can, some of the benefits, it can be, besides you get to work from home, set your own hours, and doing something that you enjoy. And that's really nice because you get, it's the best of both worlds to say it's my business and my hobby, considering it. And then plus you would get wholesale accounts with companies. And so, there might be the latest cool tool from We Are Memory Keepers. What is their all-in-one? Is that what it's called? The new big does everything tool. It does everything but wash your car for you. And that is what, $70. And so if you had a wholesale account, you could get that for $35. So that's another benefit. But of course, it's not just for the thrill of it. You don't want to just buy things you're not going to use. So, but you can demo it. Excuse me. So, and it doesn't matter if it's a craft business or not, but basically that's what I'm talking about right now. 40-hour job. Yeah, the taxes are a pain. I'm a numbers person. I love math, which is unusual because usually the math side of your brain and the creativity side of your brain are at opposition with one another. I like them both. So I really love paperwork. I liked doing tax prep, and I liked doing bookkeeping and spreadsheets and being creative too. I had another crafty dream last night, by the way. You're an auditor. Oh, wow. That's got to be fun or scary if you really find stuff going on, right? Good for you, Carolyn. Yeah. Any other questions just about setting up a business? So I have done this by hand for years and years and years. I am using TurboTax now to do our family's taxes, and it's clunky at Disney World. Oh, should I say it? I don't know. Disney has been in the news a lot lately about their their fancy way of keeping their books. So maybe you found some things out. So, and it is 31 days from now that my daughter and I are leaving for California.
Not gonna be here for the next month.
Yeah. So, oh yes. So we will not be here for the November live video. So we were going to skip November and then meet you again here for December. So I do TurboTax. It's okay. Yes, they charge you. And as far as hiring, someone mentioned a CPA or even I used to work for Jackson Hewitt. Now, every tax company has their ups and downs, and it depends on the town you are in as to whether Jackson Hewitt or H&R Block or Liberty Tax or a privately owned one, whether they have a good reputation or not, because it depends on who owns the franchise and who manages it. So in our town, we always felt like the Liberty Tax was kind of a joke. Um, our biggest competitor at Jackson Hewitt was always H&R Block, but we didn't think of Liberty Tax as our competitor just because of where we are and who owned and who managed. So that fluctuates. So I can't say, oh, go to this particular tax company. I can't do that because it's different everywhere you are. Trucking Biz, and you used H&R Online. There you go. So you could just do the Schedule C, Denise. You could just do a Schedule C and not the whole thing. Our H&R here, though, my mother-in-law mom and dad were taking their taxes to H&R every year, even though I was working at Jackson Hewitt, and I said, we could do it here. And then one year she had me do her taxes, and I found that H&R had found a mistake. The whole thing. Okay. So then I redid her taxes from the previous year, filed an amended to get her some money back. And the next year she went back to H&R again. And I said, look, tell them about this thing right here that they messed up last time. So you make sure you get your money out of that thing. And she went there and they had no idea what she was talking about. And it was in our software. And so I guess it wasn't in H&R's software, so they didn't catch it. So she's been going back to Jackson Hewitt ever since. I loved the software. It was really good. So to go from that to switching to TurboTax, it's pretty clunky. I have a hard time navigating in TurboTax, but I do it. So I don't want to do all this by hand, and it does catch things that I messed up. Okay. Not to be too depressing or anything, but about all that. Anyway, but it felt good, catching the mistake that our competitor made. And basically, in case you're going somewhere too, so they changed the last year. The taxes were completely different, so we didn't get to itemize last year. That's right. They changed that whole system. It was just a way of claiming your charitable contributions in Colorado. It's what it is. It was a Colorado thing. So anyway, no biggie. Here's my, there's crying again. So we caught it. So we're happy. And the only reason I quit working at Jackson Hewitt at the time was just because more and more people are doing their taxes online themselves to save money. And so we were just getting less and less business. So we were getting less and less bonus. And so my overall wages kept going down, down, down. And it became not worth it for the amount of stress of doing other people's taxes. The other thing about doing your taxes on any kind of software like TurboTax or going to H&R Block is that most of them charge you by how many forms they have to fill out on your behalf. So a Schedule C is in addition to your 1040, it's an extra charge. And so that's why at Jackson Hewitt, I just record it all. At Jackson Hewitt, we couldn't give people an estimate of how much it would cost because they wouldn't know. They would say, oh, I have easy taxes. And they would come in with 12 W-2s. Yeah. So we really didn't know until people would come in. Just don't throw all your receipts into a cardboard box and bring them to us on April 15th. Yes, that happens every year. Or one guy, he just had one of those big calendars, paper calendars that go on your refrigerator, and he would write a number on there and not write what it was, like $25, and we didn't know, was he buying gas? Did he buy a tool for his truck? We had no idea what it was, and he had no idea what it was, but that was his record keeping, not very good. So keep up with it. Whatever record keeping you start, follow through and don't give up on it. In my phone, I have a little note taking thing. What's it called? It's just called Notes, I guess. It's called Keep Notes. And so I just write the mileage all in there, and then I transfer them over to a spreadsheet. Yeah, other people's taxes. It just really gets tough, because a lot of them don't realize what is required of them, and then they have to go back and they have to research. And we say, can you find out? I think for me, the hardest thing about doing other people's taxes was knowing when they were outright lying to me, and I can't question that. I mean, you can tell, because if someone tells me there was this sweet spot then that you needed to earn about $11,000 to really get the maximum amount back from the earned income tax credit. So if someone comes in and says, I have my own home business, I earned $11,000. Exactly. Yep, exactly. Okay. Did you have any expenses? That's after expenses. Do you have a record of all your expenses? Yep. And so, hi, Lori. And so then to question them and say they also want to claim head of household, and they also want to say, and they've been going to college all year and they've been paying for it themselves. So they earned $11,000, and off that $11,000, they paid $10,000 toward college and paid their house rent and bought groceries and clothed their children and didn't get any help from anyone. So when that kind of thing happens, pretty much know I'm being lied to. Hi, Laura. You have any sage wisdom for us about taxes for home business? Anyway, so we were just covering all the things we could claim as expenses on our taxes. Then we were just kind of shooting the breeze about paying someone to do our taxes. So yeah, I did it 3 years in a row. And it was 2011, 12, and 13. And it wasn't worth the money. I'm much happier doing this. I'll leave the numbers to you. Keep your receipts. Yes, please. Oh, here's a thought too. Keep your receipts. I don't know what they're called. It has some of the receipts. Is it laser when it's like that heat, the tape, the numbers are imprinted on there through heat? Is that laser? Those receipts fade over even a year or two. Some of those receipts you are better thermal. There you go, Lori. Thank you. See, I knew you would be helpful here. So those receipts fade. And so you will want to photocopy those when you get them. And you can just put as many receipts as you can on an 8.5 by 11 sheet and just photocopy the whole thing and use that for your tax purposes. Because if you get audited 5 years from now and all your receipts are just blank strips of paper, you're not going to have anything to help you back up your claim to expenses. So that's important. Copy, copy, copy. Yes, thermal paper, need to copy. And they're you would know because they're sort of, they're the kind of paper that's hard to write on when they give you at the restaurant or something, and you go to sign your name on that, and it's almost slick, it's a different material. And so you can tell that's the kind of paper you have to photocopy. So that is a helpful thing to do. I have a file box, and we have a file cabinet, but I have a file box just for taxes. And I have a file for every year. It's in its own file with all the receipts, all of these, etc. My copies of the W-2s. There's a scan those with your phone, as long as your phone doesn't lose them. But anyway, so my file box, the reason I have it in a little individual plastic file box is I figure in case of fire, I'm grabbing that and running. That's going to be my what to grab in a fire. If I have time, will be that. I will grab you too, Michelle, just letting you know. I'll grab my kid. We don't have any pets, so I'd have to grab that. You're welcome. So, that way it's just easy. It's portable. I can grab it and run without having to go to a metal file cabinet and pull it out. And so what can I take in the case of a fire? But, in the case of fire, I think I'm going to be running at the door, not thinking about my taxes, but just saying. It's a lofty goal of mine that in the case of a fire, I will grab my taxes. Yeah. It's like, you think. Anyway, we've been very fortunate, but I have had friends who have lost their entire home to fire, so it's tragedy. And, okay, other businesses, off the cuff, what are your thoughts? Back up everything in the cloud currently with Carbonite. Good. Yes, back up everything in the cloud. I just had a computer die. I had 2 laptops and one of them died. Then I had to buy this one here. So I still have 2 again. But the one that died, all the information that was on there is in the cloud. Yeah, cloud storage. Very good to do. Scan them into the computer. Very good. Lots of good ideas. So, business names. I think I think it's important to choose a good business name. I mean, Lollapalooza, I had that years and years and years ago. I'm talking mid to late 90s, like 95, 96. I started with Lollapalooza because what was it? Oh, I was selling close to my heart, which was dots back then. And then when I quit selling with them, I was going to start teaching classes in my basement right here on this very table at workshops, and I was going to sell the card stock by the sheet and sell stamps, and I needed a business name. And so I wanted something with lolly in it, and I just started looking in the dictionary under LO words, LOL words, and I came across Lollapalooza, which means something great and extraordinary. So I thought, well, Lollapalooza, and it was one word back then. So I got a business in that name at the time. Um, Thank you. Thank you, Amy. My husband says it's too long, Lollapalooza. I've seen way longer ones. I think it from me looking at other people's YouTube channels, I think getting something that is like 6 words long is a little too much. Like if it was having fun crafting along the way, it's just a little too long, try to condense it. And if your name is really too long, your business name is too long on your YouTube channel, it actually gets cut off part of it, like when we're opening a video, it doesn't really show the whole thing. And so it's cutting off, then I don't think it's really helpful to have that. Short and concise is better. Something memorable is great. It is hard because I think we like to have something with our name. Some of us would rather have the anonymity and not have it. I like Lori Nunemaker's name, especially after the Maker came out. When Cricut came out with the Maker, I said, how perfect is this to have Nunemaker as your name? That's just great. Someone did tell me that Lollapalooza sounded like a porn star. That's my claim to fame. So we need a bunch of, there we go. Yeah. I said, that's when I told her, well, no, you see, there's a word in the dictionary. Okay. There's a word. Apparently she never heard of Elmo Palooza in Sesame Street. He's a combination of my husband, me and my son name. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh my gosh is right. Porn star. Get your mind out of the gutter, girl. The person who told me that. And it can be a totally made up name, well, like Lollapalooza is, but I mean, I could have said Lolly's Crafty Corner, right? But I mean, people make up words all the time, like craftapalooza is a word. Maybe someone has that, So I would just recommend not making it so long. And I think we're all looking for something that has the word create or craft or design in it. And after a while, it's like everything's taken. We were talking about, well, maybe I shouldn't say. Something secretive may be coming down the pike in a while. I have to keep mums the word right now. But if it happens, there will be a huge announcement. Okay. We're trying to come up with a name for something. So, at one point, a friend of mine and I were talking about setting up craft retreats and, like starting in Colorado and then seeing if it would succeed and taking it out into the rest of the US and just coming up with a name for that hadn't been taken. And we have a lot of similar interests, but we have a lot of dissimilar interests too. And so it was hard to really focus on one direction and come up with a creative name that sounded creative and not kid crafty, like the paper and glue group, we wanted it to have something kind of mature sounding. Anyway, and so I some of you have shared business names with me before, and I thought they were really cute, but I know you might be afraid if you're getting ready to set up a business, you might be afraid to share the name here in case someone would take it. But you could also set up an LLC right now so that at least you've got that. Budget retreats on YouTube. So explain that, Christy. What would be a budget retreat? You mean just like a quick, easy, not so expensive? I think so too, a craft retreat. We had people interested, and it was just like, if I wasn't sick, she was sick. If I didn't have something really bad going on in my family, she did. It was like we had a really hard time finding a date. We thought we should just schedule the thing. And now she's gotten really busy and she is a travel agent, travel advisor. So she's so busy. But yeah, I think many people have been commenting on my expo series, my Stamp and Scrapbook expo series, saying they wish that they had something like that in their area. So that would be fun. And surprisingly, like I update my husband now and then about how things are going with in the craft world, and he's just like, And I said that we were thinking about setting up craft retreats, and he said that would be great. Craftologist Rescue, is that like you mean for a business name or a retreat name? That would be cute, Brenda. Are you thinking of that for a retreat or a business name? Craftologist. So anyway, I think the expo is great. They've got it down to a science. I mean, if you, how many of you, show of hands, or how many of you have been to a stamp and scrapbook expo? Because they are in several cities across the U.S. I'm fortunate in that mine is just over an hour away. It's not too bad. But it goes so late when you do the cropping that I stay in Denver for the never. Yeah. There's one. Lori's been to them. I mean, to me, the very first time I went, I only went on a Friday. I took a class. I went around and looked around shop, did a make and take, and thought, oh, that was okay. Crop and Dimples. I love your name. And Jean has two. Cropped and Dimples. That is really cute. You went to the one in Chicago, Lori. Yeah, that would make sense for you. Yeah. I should do that. But, it's hard to travel with all of that stuff and fly. So, and I went to the Doodlebug thing last year in August, and I drove out to that, but that was a similar thing of being able to just scrapbook I never been to one, seeing your video. Yeah, they are really nice. I enjoy them. To me, it's very relaxing to take the class, the Mickey album that I made. Let's see where I put it. Oh, hold on. So the Mickey album that I took the class on and showed you, that chunky Mickey one. So that I like to take a class like that I know I can't finish the project in class. So I have something just to work on. Pinners Conference. Yes, I've heard of that. I think you were the one who told me about that, Lori. And I'm not really familiar with it. When is it? Are you going? You said you want to. So Pinners, I guess, is for like Pinterest, right? But I really felt like it was for me to get away and just create and not be worried about, I have to do this as a tutorial, or, I could just play. Oh, I think I need to go and look at some more dies and get up and go shopping and come back. And yeah, I spent too much money, but I knew I would. So, so is there something else? Is it just called Pinners Conference, or is there a name? Have gone a bit too late to classes, worked a few hours, got credit to purchase merchandise. Oh, yeah. If you volunteer at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo, you get paid. So Crop and Dimples, have you been to the Pinners Conference that Lori mentioned? And I'm guessing that's just once a year, right? So, yes. And what time of the year is that? I don't want to research while we're on the phone here. I mean, while we're on live here. So and I'm guessing the pinners, it could be for beyond just the crafting community, right? Because there's all kinds of pinning up there, but home decor, and that could be really interesting. Is it like a 2 or 3 day weekend thing? So anyway, I think that I don't know what our future is. Next one's in Utah, California. I'll have to look that up. We had when we were considering, well, a couple of my friends and I like to shoot the breeze and talk about, well, if we won the lottery, what would we do? And I said it would be so fun to set up uh, to get like a whole cruise ship just for crafters and do a cruise and just to pay all these big names. Hi, Bobby. To pay all these big names to come in and teach, on a craft cruise. I think that would be fun. So we were just discussing craft retreats. We were basically done with the talking business and going on to about, well, it still could be business because if you do the Pinners Conference and you have a 3 days, Friday through Sunday, good, thank you. If you have a crafting business and you go to the Pinners Conference, that would be business expense. So maybe does something like that. You mean the cruise? She does a cruise, or she just does something like the Pinners Conference cruise. Oh yeah, nice, cool. I'll have to check that out. That would be really fun. Okay, well, we have done well. It is 7:51. I think we've done well, and you can tell my computer camera is cooperating and doing really well. It used to cut out after cruise and creating. That's cute. Is that Maymay's her
Or
cruise,
suggestion.
or is that you a suggestion for a name? Cruise and creating. So anyway, my computer's doing really well. My camera used to cut out after half an hour every single time we would do a live, and it's hanging in there now. So thank you everyone for joining us. This usually goes public, in other words, not live, within half an hour. So you can watch the replay, especially if you missed the first part of it. Those of you who are watching it and it's not live, tomorrow morning, I will change the title so it says no longer live, because I've had people comment and say, I can't comment anymore in the live chat. Well, it's because the live chat will be over with. So if you have any more questions, you think about it tonight, any more questions about business, you can comment them under the video tomorrow. Name for the idea to do creator cruise. I think that would be fun. And because there are cruises that are just for scrapbookers, and so cruise and crop, a lot of them are stuff like that. But I would think one that's for any kind of paper crafter would be great, whether they're a cropper, card maker, just paper, whatever, journaler, planner.
Hard time with your P's today.
My PLs. Yeah, here's my I'm having a hard time talking emoji. Thank you so much for coming through, everyone. Thank you for sharing information. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Amy, for everything. And I have been going through and taking all the cutesy little toys and Hello Kitties off the backdrop here, so that it's not looking like a kid channel for YouTube at the beginning of the year. I agree, Bobby. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming, and we'll catch you on the replay.